welcome to my channel. My name is Rachel, Talking Dog Stitcher, here on YouTube and over on Instagram as well. This channel is all about cross stitch, and if you are new here, welcome. And if you're returning from episode 1, my whip parade, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. So, I have done some stitching and things since my whip parade a couple of weeks ago, but first I will do a very quick life update for you. A couple of weeks ago, it was my husband and I's 10-year anniversary. It's not a wedding anniversary, we haven't been together that long. It's the anniversary of that awkward, will you be my girlfriend? Will you be my boyfriend? Shall we not see any of the people? Kind of conversation. So not as big a deal as a wedding anniversary, but it was still significant. It was significant for us. And it gave us a really good excuse to hand the kids over to their grandparents, and we headed down to Bath for a long weekend. We had a great time. Bath is where we met when we were in our early 20s, all that time ago. So we just spent the time reliving that, really. Going to restaurants and bars and pubs and things that were familiar to us, having a really nice wander around. Being tourists the way that you don't tend to be when you live somewhere. And we went to the theatre. We decided that we were going to the theatre before we even knew what was on. And what was on was Heathers, the musical. It's based on the film of the same name. I had never seen the film before booking the tickets. We decided not to watch the film before going. And it was incredible. So good. If you ever get the opportunity to go and see Heathers the musical, I understand it's kind of adapted by the same person that did Legally Blonde the musical, and it is fantastic. We have since watched the film as well, and it is quite true to the film as well. So if you're a fan, if you're not a fan, it's just brilliant. So much so, we have actually booked to go and see it again when it travels all the way up here to Blackpool. So yeah, can't recommend it enough. Other than that, we spent a lot of time eating, drinking, that kind of thing. So yeah, it was a really good time. Other than that, I managed to catch an illness while I was away, so that's why I sound like this. My apologies. And yeah, that's kind of life since I last saw you. Last time, at the beginning of my whip parade, I did show you a very recent finish that I had done. I have since fully finished that, and I've got it here to show you. It's a bit rough and ready, shall we say, but I'm happy with it. I mentioned in my last video that I don't get a lot of finishes, so I don't get a lot of practice with fully finishing. So I did something a bit different this time. I don't know that I will do it again, but it works for what I need it to do. Here we go. Pooh's Flowers is a Designer Stitches kit. Finished in a wooden hoop with some cream pom-pom trim. And then I just hot glued the kind of overlapping fabric to the inside hoop there. Now it does go, you can see it when the light's shining through it. It does go up against the wall, and you can't really tell once it's against the wall. So it's perfectly fine for me as it is. And yeah, for fully finished item. Don't expect to see one of those for a while now. I am trying to get some things finished, whittle down my whips a little bit, because I will go through it in plans a little bit later, but I am planning on having a few more starts this year. Yay, fully finished. I should mention that I have tried to record this video once already on Saturday, April the 1st, April Fool's Day, and the universe decided to take that literally with me on that day. First off, my ring light / tripod broke, so that is currently being held together with some hot glue. Then, after I'd finished filming, I was doing it late at night, so I finished about 10:30 in the evening. There wasn't time to edit, so I thought I'd come back to it on the Sunday, only to find that I had managed to record myself in slow motion for the entire thing. So if I sound a little bit kind of choppy, it's because I can't remember whether I've said something today or whether I said it 2 days ago, and therefore it's not going to be in the video. I'm sorry. I'm hoping that with practice and experience, this whole filming thing will start to come together a little bit better. But for now, it is what it is. I'm doing my best over here. As always, if we go through the video and you have questions because I've missed something out, or you want to see where I purchased patterns or fabric or anything like that, please feel free to leave me a comment or send me a message over on Instagram, which a couple of you did from my last video, so thank you very much. I'm more than happy to share any links, any information that I have about anything that I show you here. Okay, and now on to the main part of the Flosstube episode. So this is going to be a bit of a March roundup. Now, you have seen a lot of the progress of things that I've worked on in March already, because I did my first episode, my whip parade, in the middle of March. So I worked on 11 projects throughout March. I've had 4 of those were new starts, and I have had no finishes this month other than the Pooh's flowers that you have already seen. So, since my whip parade, 4 of those projects I've worked on you haven't seen, and 2 of those new starts you haven't seen. So I've got 6 things to show you in this video. I will start with the new starts for this month. They were the Prefect's Bathroom, which I showed you in my whip parade. Harvest Picture, which I also showed you in my whip parade. And because I did those in chronological order, if you want to go back and watch them, skip to the end of the video and you'll be pretty close. Since then, on the 22nd of March, I started this. This is the Quirky Quaker Queen Bee by Darling and Whimsy Designs. And these are brilliant. I love them. They've been doing them as part of Quirky Quaker Birthday Sal for Michelle, Bendy Stitchy, Erin, 2 Martini Stitcher, and there's another one, and I'm so sorry, I can't remember. I'm going to have to pop her name on the screen. They all have March birthdays, so they've all decided that they're going to do Quirky Quakers for their birthday, and I've asked members of the community to join in. So this is the one I chose to do, and here is how far I got with just my 1 day of stitching. Ooh. So these are brilliant for sort of stash busting. There are called for colours, but you can kind of go where you want to with it, which is great. So I'm stitching this on a piece of unnamed 32 count Coffee Craft fabric. It's this lovely purple and white kind of mottled, and then I'm using, for the yellow, it's DMC 3822, DMC, where am I? 310 for the black, and then the wings will be 3865. I have also used some Krynic 002, for this fancy crown over here. I tell you what, I see myself on the screen, but it's flipped, so I don't know where I am. That way, for this crown. And then this, I'm obsessed with this colour, the Gentle Art Sampler Thread Poinsettia. And I'm done with the Krynic and the gentle art there, the pink and the gold. Just that little heart there. So I've just got black, yellow and white to do. And I'll finish that in a day. So I just need to get on with it. She shares a piece of fabric with last year's Quirky Quaker birthday sale, which is Fishbone. Fishbone is a free Quirky Quaker on Darling and Whimsy website. So I definitely recommend getting her. I only found out the other day, and it makes so much sense, that these little edge pieces are designed to look like cats peeking over the side. And I can see it and I can't unsee it, and it's amazing. So I named him Franco last year, and because of going to see the musical Heathers with my husband, I've decided to name her Heather the Queen Bee. And I think it's so fitting. Franco and Heather. What I'm planning on doing is eventually kind of gathering a bunch of Quirky Quakers and doing a little pillow finish with each one and swapping them out seasonally. So the bee is quite a spring, summery one. I haven't decided which one I'll do that for. I think spring. And then I've seen that there's a flamingo, there's a fox, I think it's a yeti. So I think I'll do those as my others, and maybe one day do a pillow finish for those. The other new start that I had in March that I haven't already showed you is Let's Make a Statement #2 by Dee's 20 Stitches. I started this on the 31st of March, which was Trans Visibility Day. I purchased it on that day as well. This is another coffee craft fabric. It's again unnamed, and the called for, as you can see on the picture that I popped up, is navy, but the colourway on this one just seems too perfect to not use. It's a pink with very slight blue and white mottling, and then for the colours, obviously because it's such a light fabric in comparison, I've had to wing it. But I did a bit of a stash dive to see what I had, and we are using some more gentle arts. Where are they? Here we go. Got Berry Cobbler with pink, Pumpkin Patch on the orange there. This over here, where are we? There is going to be sort of a globe. So they will have Gentle Art Evergreen. And then another coffee craft creation is this. Again, unnamed, but it's an over-dyed, very blue, variegated thread, and it is lovely to stitch with. I'm not sure if Megan's still doing floss, but if she is, I will be picking up some more different colours at some point for sure. So there's those, and then I'll also be using some DMC 3865. Lovely. I think I'm going to have to swap out the back stitched letters from white, because they're just not, while you can see them in person, they're not popping out very much. So I think I will change the back stitch letters for a different colour. And that's that for new starts. Okay, other than that, I mentioned in my last video that I have a Whip Go board and that I had fallen off the wagon as of January. I've decided that I'm going to return to the Whip Go board, kind of. So I have quite a lot of projects. I'm going to have even more because I don't plan to stop starting new things. So I've decided that those projects that I identified at the beginning of the year as things I wanted to get some work in on, if I ever find myself with any sort of decision paralysis, I'm just going to grab whatever's been called. That way, at least, you know, maybe those things that I want to do things to or I want to gift will at least get a little bit of work in times that I wouldn't have otherwise necessarily picked them up. So I have a number of things on there, and everything that I've worked on this month has featured on my WhipGo board and has been called. Apart from my travel stitching, which obviously we had about a 4-hour drive to and from in the car. It was shared driving between me and my husband, and we did have to entertain children and all that kind of stuff, so it's not sort of 8 hours of solid stitching's worth, but I did get some good progress. I will pop a picture on the screen of this one because I don't have a cover photo, but this is the travel stitching that I was talking about. This is Pumpkin King by Mama Witch X Stitch. I will pop a link down below for the Etsy shop so that you can get your own copy if you want to. I love her designs. I'm planning on stitching many, many more. This is where I'm up to now, and I will pop a side-by-side before and after so you can see what I've done. This one I'm doing by colour completing, so I started by filling in all of the black, then I've been doing it so I do the colour with the most stitches first because it's in Pattern Keeper, the most stitches, and then sort of the next most amount of stitches and so on until I get down. There's a colour that's got about 11 stitches in it, I think, so that will be the last one that I do just to finish it off. I managed to finish colour completing this dark orange, and I have started on the next colour, which is the green that's going to be in the chest and is in his eye as well. So according to Pattern Keeper, I managed to do, find it in my notes, 377 stitches on my 2 drives over that weekend. So I will pop him away until I have the opportunity to stitch and be a passenger again. And hopefully we do quite a lot of driving. I might have him finished by Halloween. Okay, the next one that I have is a kit. 100 Owls by Owl Forest Embroidery. Love this chart. It is a free download if you wanted to get just the chart. I bought the kit so that I could get the fabric and the floss, the Owl Forest Embroidery overdyed threads. I'll show you a little handful of them because they are fabulous colours, the overdyeds in there. And I popped this on my WhipGo board for 2 motifs. Now I don't mind if they are sort of big motifs like these ones in the middle, or whether they're just a teeny tiny little owl on the side. Either or, just 2 motifs is what I would like to get completed this year. And I started, as per my before picture, on the very centre, and I've decided just to keep going with that centre motif. So here is owls 38 through 49. According to the chart, these represent Japanese scops owls. And this motif is nearly finished. I just have some leaves along the bottom, and then there are little sort of white flower buds that go in there as well, and that will be done. And then I've also started a teeny tiny motif there, and that will represent my 2 motifs for WhipGo to be marked up as complete. That's a 32 count linen that came in the kit, and the needle minder that was included as well. Next up that came on my WhipGo board was Story Keeps, I can get my teeth back in today, Story Keep Pocahontas. It's by Heaven and Earth Designs, and it's artwork by Melanie Dellen. I'm going to pause here so that I can go and get the cover photo, and I will be right back. Okay, here she is. Story Keep Pocahontas by Melanie Dellen. She's 125 wide by 303 high. I managed to get in 348 stitches on her since the last time you saw her. Put her that side so I can put the full picture. And it's mostly up in this corner, a little bit around her head. If you want to see her a little bit further along in her stitching process, head over to Lizzie's Little Loops Flosstube. That's where I first found this pattern. Heaven and Earth Designs website is so difficult to navigate for me. There's just so much choice that I find it so much easier to go see people stitching things and think, yeah, that's really nice, and then search for it by name. So that's what I did. I'm really enjoying it. She's not very wide, like I mentioned, so I think she's about 35 more stitches. So she'll finish about here, and that'll be the full width of her. So I've put her down for 500 stitches, so I've got about 150 stitches left before I meet my goal on that one. So that should be done in a day, easily. And then I might put her down, I might carry on stitching, we'll see where the feelings take me. Next up, we have my Advent Animals. This is a freebie chart from Brooks Books Publishing. I will pop in the description box below where you can pick those up. I first saw these on Stitching Mummy, her Flosstube, because she's done them all individually. I think she's very much near the end, actually, of getting them all put together. I have stitched the border, whereas she has not. And I, in fact, have stitched the border for all of them. And then I'm just going to go back and fill them all in. Now, I will show you over on that side the before picture, and I've made quite a bit of progress on this one. So it was called on WhipGo for an animal to be finished. So I'm working on Katie Kitty here, and she's got a whole bunch of work done, which is great. Her feet, some of her lower body and her cape, and her little cheeks and chin as well, little white cheeks and chin. So again, maybe one more day stitching and that will be able to be ticked off for a win for WhipGo. I've already started on Peter Polar Bear over here as well, so when that one gets called, I don't have the whole thing to do, which is great. And that's it for things that I've worked on since my whip parade in the last couple of weeks. Next up, I'm going to talk to you about some purchases and acquisitions, and then after that I'll go on to some plans, because I have actually made plans, which I didn't think I would, but I have, so I will talk through those with you as well. Shortly before my last video, before my whip parade, was Mother's Day here in the UK, but unfortunately the Mother's Day gift that I got had not yet arrived, so I wasn't able to show them to you then. They are now here, so I can show you. I was given a little spending limit of £30 to spend at Lakeside Needlecraft, which is a online needlework shop even here in the UK. And this is what I picked up. Now I've heard a lot about Nudge hoops, which are square hoops. Cross Stitch Bunny, Lauren, is a big fan of them over on her Flosstube, and I thought that seems ideal. However, I didn't want to miss out on the kind of discount that you get by purchasing a selection of them all at the same time, but I also didn't want to pay that much to then find out that I didn't actually get on with them very well. So I found this on the Lakeside Needlecraft website, and it's a very cheap version of it. It was only £3 or £4. A 24 by 34 rectangular hoop, and I really love it. I really love it. So I'm definitely going to upgrade at some point. It is a little sort of loose on the sides when you've got it all tightened up. Not so much on the corners, but on the sides. So it does lose its tension a little bit, but I'm going to keep it. I do love it, and like I say, at some point, maybe next Mother's Day, I'll treat myself to some Nudge hoops as well. Alongside that, I picked up my first Mill Hill kit. You've seen my whip parade, you know I love a good kit. This is the Mighty Oak Quartet Fall Oak, with a cute little witch and I'm assuming dog, could be a cat in there. And it's not a buttons and beads, so it's not perforated paper. It comes with a 14 count brown Ada, and I don't know if I'll get all 4 of the Mighty Oaks. I love this one. I love the spring one. I'm a bit on the other 2, on the winter and summer, but I mean, I might not even like beading. We'll find out, won't we? So I'm going to start that hopefully soon. It'll be the first time I've ever beaded. I have got a Mirabilia on the go, but we are a long way away from the beading section of that. So this will be my first attempt. It comes with the little beading needles as well, which is great. So we'll see how that goes. Last little thing that I picked up from Lakeside Needlecraft is a piece of Fabric Flare. I tell you what, I cannot speak today. Fabric Flare fabric. This is 32 count even weave in the colour Shades of Autumn. And it's sort of yellows and oranges, tiny little flecks of green going through it as well. And this is the called for fabric for, there's a Peter Rabbit chart in my World of Cross Stitching magazine that I really want to do because I just can't get enough Peter Rabbit. And this is what's going to go on there. So I picked that up. And then a couple of weeks ago, so just after my last video, I popped into Hobbycraft and found, like I said, sucker for Peter Rabbit. I found this kit, excuse the rustling. So I picked him up and comes with sort of the hoop and things to finish it with. So I will stitch that up probably quite quickly. It looks like it's all full crosses, just a little bit of back stitching that sort of pierces the fabric. So I'll get that one done and I will add that to my daughter's bedroom wall hopefully at some point. I might have an FFO for you, maybe this year. We'll see. I also picked up, alongside the Quirky Quaker Queen Bee, the Let's Make a Statement pattern. I also purchased this month Megara. Let's see, show you. By Make It Pink, based on artwork by Hannah Alexander. And she is stunning. 24 colours, 5 colours of beads, 14 blends. Her sort of sash and her headband are all Krynic. And she's just beautiful. It even comes with instructions to put, there's like a chain that goes along here. And she's put in instructions for how you can do that using a real jewellery chain, which I think I will do. If I can find the chain to do it with, then I will be brave in the decade or so it takes for me to get to that point. So those are my purchases and I'm really, really excited to get onto those. The final section of this video is going to be plans. And I have decided, alongside my Whip Go board, which I'll kind of have in the background rather than deciding to like focus fully on sort of ticking those off. Like I say, I'm going to use them more as a sort of prompt to, oh, I don't know what to do, I'll do something off that. I am actually going to start a whole bunch of projects in Mania or Mayhem. Whichever you refer to it as. I'm not going to start 31 things. I'm not going to start something every day because that was basically going to double my whip count. It's also not feasible for me at this stage to gather and kit up that many things. I have done a bit of a stash dive, see what I have, and I'm going to start things that I already have, or I only need a couple of things gathered to allow me to start. So I'm going to start 15 things in May. There will be one thing every other day and each thing I start will get 2 days worth of stitching on it. Now that my stitching days vary, so It might be 2 really big days of stitching. I might get quite a bit of progress on it, and I might have 2, sort of 10-minute burst days. We don't know. So that is my plan. It will boost my whip count quite significantly by about 50%. So it'll be interesting. I have a variety of different sized projects, some kits. You've seen a couple of them there. I have accounted for those as well. And that's what I will be doing come May. So my question to you is, would you like to, at any point in the next month or so, see all of those things that I would like, that I'm going to start in May? I was thinking I could do just a quick kit parade of all of the things that I plan to start in May. And then, May's monthly update video is going to be like a full whip parade, almost. That's more whips than some people have in total. So if you would like to see something like that, pop a comment down below. I will take them into account. If not, then, if no one wants to see it, then no one wants to see it. That is fine. I will keep it to myself. I'm planning on not starting anything at all in April due to Mania. And that is it in terms of plans. So let me know if you would like to see me in a couple of weeks with my kit parade. If not, I will see you in a month's time with my April roundup. And all of the best. Have a wonderful stitchy week. Have a wonderful stitchy month. And I will see you soon. Bye.